Hello, everyone. It's Aliza Rose, the business mystic, and welcome back to my podcast, Manifest and Monetize with Aliza Rose. Today, we are concluding an 8-part series that I had put out there. It's called Broke Healer No Thanks. And it's a series on really how to just get rid of and just squash out the broke healer stereotype that seems so prevalent in our community, in our industry. So today is the final episode of the series, this 8-part series. Oh my gosh. And we're going to dive right into it. So today's episode is about creating a community without compromise, because community is really important. We need community. If you're attracted to my work, if you're part of my community, then you know that feeling of where we're always just like other. Like, we're kind of weird, we're a little wild, we're super woo, and we just we got a little something going on there, right? And it is so important, especially with how the world works, with how we're you know a lot of us are online, we're super introverts. It can feel very isolating, very siloed off from another human being. And so in this final episode of the series, we're going to really talk about and explore how to create a genuine supportive community around your work, without compromising your integrity. Because I know that I've been in like some super groups where I'm like, whoa, like it feels gross, and I don't want that feeling. Like even in my email list, and I have like thousands of people on my email list. I will reach out randomly to someone on the email list and be like, hey, how are you? And literally send them a voice memo and be like, hey, I was checking out your stuff. And people are always surprised, like, oh my God, you replied back to me, or oh my goodness, you sent me a voice memo. It's like, well, yeah, you're part of my community. Like, no, I can't always get to every single person who replies back to my email. No, I can't always answer every question, but I do want to be present, and I like to be present in my social media communities, like all these pockets where people gather around my content or around my craziness. I want to be present. I want to lead with presence, and I want them to know that they are seen and that they're heard. Like, I may not be able to get to all 100 questions that someone asks in a day, but I want to still make sure that people know that I'm leading this space and I'm owning it. I'm also being very protective over it. Okay. So I've got a Cancer North node. So like that's a thing. So, you know, when I first started, really understanding how to grow my audience, I had like Facebook groups. I had like a freaking great society. I had like a whole bunch of different Facebook groups, and I belonged to a bunch of Facebook groups. And it was, and I followed a lot of the conventional advice again. So, posting every single day, asking questions, all these things. And, I just did all the things, created the lead magnets, try to grow my list as fast as I could, ran all these things, social media stuff. I just did that, and I was so obsessive with just like follower counts, subscriber numbers. And it was like, well, how fast is my Facebook group growing, compared to so and so's? Or, oh my gosh, I'm in so and so's group and they've got like 20,000 bajillion people in it, right? So I was being like a numbers girl, but not being the right kind of numbers girl, right? And growth is important. That is a metric you should measure. But, you know, as my audience was growing, I felt like something was off. Like I felt it that like I just was feeling really disconnected. And it showed. Like my engagement, even though my group was huge, it's like my engagement was really low. And then the people that were coming from these pools of these communities that I had built, like they just weren't really aligned with my actual work. Like they wanted more a masculine approach, or they wanted something that was just not very fun or soulful. It was boring, or just felt a little bit too aggressive for my pace. And like I just was like, oh, I couldn't figure it out why. So the shift came when I stopped trying to appeal to everyone, because I was building these communities based on like, I just want a body, I just want a number, I just want the biggest, most impressive number ever, and so I was trying to appeal to everybody. And it just wasn't aligned. So what shifted, and this was a gradual shift. I'm not one of those people that's like lightning hits my face and then I'm like, oh, I'm changed. It's like, no, it's like a slow burn. I don't know. It's something Pluto Capricorn. I can't remember right now. But there's something in my chart where everything's just like the slow burn, you know? The transformation is a slow burn, but when it takes root, it takes root, and it's like everlasting forever, you know, until kingdom come or something. So my gradual shift was when I realized I needed to stop trying to appeal to everyone and stop focusing on just like getting bodies in there. That what I wanted were souls. I wanted soulful people in there. I wanted real people in there. And so I started sharing my personal, authentic experiences of like, this really happened to me, you know, and I was sharing my struggles. I was sharing like, oh, I just don't know if I did the right thing. I shared when people didn't like me and said mean things about me on social media. I shared wins. I shared just the messy parts of the journey of being an entrepreneur and just being a spiritual person who is trying to create a successful business, you know, overall, you know, because I did not want to be a broke healer. And I just talked about that, right? And I was just focused, instead of me trying to people please, which was what was happening, and problem solve and taking people out of their own journey, because I'm like, oh, let me help you. I'll do this, right? When I just shared, like, hey, this is what worked for me, it could possibly work for you. And I shared my transformation. And I was just opening the space for people to share their transformation and their stories. Things just shifted. Like, first, number one, obvious, my actual audience shrank. Like, I had people leaving my group, I had people unfollowing, I had people unsubscribing. One day I had literally like 155 people unsubscribe from my email list from one email. And it was like it was so crazy. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the equivalent of cutting your hair off and dyeing it a crazy color that no one would ever expect. But here's the trade-off, was that the people that did stay were very deeply engaged. Like, they asked questions. These were the people that were like my repeat customers. These were people who were shouting out my stuff on their social media, who were sharing my content. And so it was like I had a tiny but mighty group of loyal folks in there, you know, who loved my stuff, who followed me, who've been with me for years. And it was because it was like, I'm just going to keep it real. I'm not going to try to put this glossy veneer that I'm perfect, everything. I mean, I don't have a six pack, you know, but I have like, you know, 12 or 13 suture sites for my surgery, and I'm still going to show my belly. Like, I don't care, you know? And the thing about this was that, like, the people who truly resonated with my specific type of medicine, my specific type of butt kicking or transformation, like, these were the people that really truly needed to be on my list. Like, these were the people that I wanted to fill my universe with, who I really wanted to serve. So within 6 months, because again, I'm a slow burn, I'm a slow learner, because I was sharing this consistently, you know, my audience became more aligned with my work. Like, I could share like my woo stuff, my witchy stuff, my, hey, I'm like spiritual and religious question mark parts of myself. I could talk about like, I tried this, it worked, or it didn't work. I could talk about all these type of things. And I felt like it was making an impact. Like, it was truly helping someone that was going to benefit from it. Right. And I was just, overall, I was creating so much more meaningful connection and creating more meaningful and deeper client relationships than in my previous version of my communities, you know, which was a huge following, but so disconnected, or I felt like I had to code switch, you know? So, you know, it's been a journey, and I'm still refining that process of like, oh, hey, like, you know, what do I want to share? And, you know, do I want to bring motherhood in there? Do I want to talk about, you know what I'm saying? So just know that showing your messy parts of yourself, or that you too are a transformation in process, that you too are on your own journey, you know, is important to connecting authentically with your audience and attracting those people who are really going to be in alignment with what you're offering, because, you know, that's just how it goes. So the core thing that I want to share with you is that I want you to approach your community building from a place where it's quality over quantity, a place where you could be generous with, you know, your wisdom, right? But it has boundaries. Okay. Don't come from a place of scarcity. Like, don't make the mistake I made, where it's like, I need to grow, numbers, and not think about the quality of the people that were coming in there. Okay. And who maybe don't even align with your deeper values, you know, don't code switch, right? Like, you don't want to do that in your business, and you don't want to create this fundamental, energetic mismatch from the people that you're really meant to serve, because they can't see you, because you're like every other whatever out there, right? So building your community, despite what you hear in mainstream marketing is not about trying to get the biggest number of audience. It's not about trying to use these psychological triggers to manufacture engagement, having BuzzFeedy type of things. It's not about trying to create false scarcity or urgency. And it's not about positioning yourself as the guru who has all the answers, okay? Because nobody has all the answers, okay? Instead, I want you to approach these pockets of community, whether it's your email list, your social media, a social media group that you've developed, an in-person thing, see all these pockets as ways for, number one, to help you clarify the unique energy and unique qualifications you have about the transformation that you bring. Clarify it, explore it, master the thing, master your messaging in these spaces. Like, oh, that really hit, like that, this is what these people really want, right? Another thing is, this allows you to practice consistently showing up your email list, your social media, right, as your whole imperfect self. Right? Like, I post things on social media, like the picture's off, my hair looks weird, I don't know what happens going on with an eyebrow, it's always like disappearing somewhere. Like, I'm just still gonna show up, because that somebody more than likely is gonna need to hear what I'm gonna say that day. So I'm gonna keep showing up. Okay, because that's my job. My job is to show up, right? And then this, of course, is a place for genuine connection, not just consuming more and more content that's just like adding to the noise. So even if your frequency and cadence of posting on your social media is once a week or every other day, or you only send one email a week, or you send one email a month, as long as you're like, hey, this was crafted specifically for genuine connection, your people are going to feel that. Your audience members are going to feel that. Your subscribers are going to feel that. Your followers are going to feel that. Okay. And then just recognizing that your community is a relationship. People don't buy now, they buy later. Okay. This has been proven time and time again with buyer studies, consumer studies, like people who pay millions of dollars to study why we buy. This has been proven in those studies. People don't buy now, they buy later. So in the meantime, while they're getting ready to buy from you in the later portion, right? And usually that mark is around 90 to 180 days, depending on what you're selling. Nurture their relationship. That's what they say, nurture. Okay, be present, be of service, be generous, right? So just understand that, the most powerful community that you can create, again, whether it's email list or social media, is one that's in alignment with you, and one that attracts the people that will be in alignment with the things that you do. Okay, so show up authentically, show up as yourself, because people get weird about that, right? Like when you have that people-pleasing perfectionistic thing and you're recovering from all of that, you're like, I got to be perfect. I have to have all the answers. I got to be glossy. I got to solve the world's problems. It's like, no, baby. You are not a free resource library. You are a glorious, beautiful bookstore. People could peruse, they can come in, they can feel welcome, and when they're ready to buy a book or a magnet or coffee from you, they will. But it's your job to create that welcoming space, right? So the takeaway here is, I'd like you to try something. Why don't you try this experiment? And I call this the AM, the authentic attraction method, the AM. And it's a framework that I use, that I developed for growing your following without feeling manipulative. Okay. Because I think that's the biggest thing, is like, we don't want anybody to feel like they've been manipulated, and we don't want to do sleazy tactics like that. Okay. So number one, it comprises of 4 things. And number one, you need to clarify your energetic signature. Your unique skill sets, your unique combination of qualities, your experiences, your qualifications. I think I said that, totally forgot. And the gifts that you bring. Like, write down 3 to 5 words that capture your distinctive essence. So for me, it's like, it's beautiful, refined, precision systems. Like, that's kind of, or truth telling can kind of sometimes be the 5th one. It's like, I don't want anything to look ugly. I don't do janky. I like things to feel like it's a little bit refined. There's a little bit of some sophistication in there. So, there's some refinement in that process, that there is precision. Like, we are not beating around the bush. Like, I'm going for that bullseye. Like, when I say something, like, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I may be wordy about it, but I'm not going to beat around the bush. And it's kind of like calling it what it is. It's a bit of that. It's that truth telling. Like, here's what it is. It's a little bit of that tough love that could be in there, and systems. I like And what I mean by systems is just like that things have order, that things are in place, and that things feel like they are congruent. So maybe that's a better word for that. But those are the words that I like to describe my energetic signature when I go out into the world and I serve. I want them to know that there is order to things, there's a method to things, there's a system to things, there's precision. We're not going to waste time. We're not going to waste time. Okay. And that it's not janky. It's pretty. And it makes sense, right? Like it's gonna hit you on a core. You're like, yeah, okay, Aliza sees me. Okay, so that's how I would talk about my energetic signature. Okay, that was really wordy, but I think you get the gist of it. Number 2, share your journey, not just your destination. Everyone, it's like, great. There's a lot of people who hit 7 figures in their business. I've hit 7 figures in my business, but it's like, that's great. That was the end point. But it's like, okay, let's talk about the journey. How did you get there? So how did you get there? What was your story? What were the pitfalls? What were the highlights? Like, just like, everyone wants to know what's in your purse, and everyone wants to know what's behind the medicine cabinet. So this is what I'm talking about when we're saying sharing the journey. Not talking about like maybe something you have to decide what feels vulnerable for you and what feels intimate. Am I going to be sharing on my social medias like things about my children or my husband or my personal relationship with my husband? No, that's a little bit too intimate for my liking. But am I going to be vulnerable and share, hey, I got mom guilt when I have to do things. I have to, lean on my husband to, I have to, like, I'll go to my husband who does not understand anything about online business and like just have a moment, or do or share the things that he does to support me. Like, sure, I'll talk about that. I'm feeling vulnerable. Like, my husband doesn't understand what I'm doing, but he's trying to, like, so you get to decide where that line of intimacy and vulnerability is. Okay. And then create content that reveals your ongoing process. Like, hey, this is what I'm figuring out. This is what I'm learning. Don't just share your polished expertise. That's what your sales page is for. Okay. So, don't worry about that. It's okay to be messy. Okay. So for every piece that you're teaching someone or that you're promoting an offer, bring in a piece, balance it out by also sharing a piece that's part of your journey. Like, so one of the things that I like to share as part of my journey is when I get like haters online who are like, oh, you're just a loser. You're a hack, or you're a witch. That was like, I'm like, is that supposed to be an insult? Like, that's a compliment. Thank you. It was like so weird, right? Like, I don't just share testimonials and wins. I share when people totally like hate or dog me too. Like, no big deal, right? Like, hey, that kind of sucked. I'm a person, but okay, it's just part of the journey. Like, being a public figure, showing up, and not letting those people like get to me or beat me down. Plus, besides the point, there's no bigger critic than the one that is living between your ears. So nothing anyone could say to me online, and probably this is true for you too, there's nothing anyone could post about you that inner critic and negative self-doubt and talk can say that like that hasn't said. Oh gosh, I said that all weird. Let's start over. There's nothing some random internet troll could possibly say to you that the inner critic inside your head hasn't said, and maybe even said even worse. So it's like, you can't hurt me. You know what I mean? Okay, so third piece, oh my gosh, here we go. Start conversations. Don't just create content. Like, really see like this is a conversation piece. Like, so you can end a post, email, video, whatever, with an authentic question, or something that invites just real conversation or dialogue, and then engage with people who respond. If someone actually makes a comment on your post, heart their comment, reply back, even if it's like, hey, thank you so much for replying back, or if someone sends you a DM and it's not like a, and it's like they're really have a relationship with the person. And then I really feel like it's important to pay attention. It's something called the Pareto rule, which is the 80-20, but we want to shift that a little bit when it comes to people and think of it as the 70-30 principle. So spend 70% of your time, okay, with your marketing, quote unquote, community building, really deepening those relationships with people who are already on your list, who are already following you on social media. And the rest of the time, the 30%, that's you doing outreach to cold people, to cold traffic. Okay, this is where you're doing your paid ads. This is where you're like, okay, I'm going to try a different thing, do a little whatever, but like cultivate the people who are already there. Cultivate your email list. I had someone I had a client, no joke, had 9,000 plus people on her email list. And she was trying to, fill in one of her programs. And it was like, it was literally like $1,000 program. Okay. And she was like, oh my gosh, I got to run ads. I got to get all these new people. I got to get on TikTok. And I'm like, you have 9,000 people on your email list. Why don't you just promote to them? And she didn't really see that they had value. It's like, well, they would have bought if they were already here. And I'm like, well, maybe they need to be reminded, right? And so by just kind of like shifting that reframe, like, hey, you already have a community of people who probably want to buy, but maybe it wasn't the right time. So make the offer again. Well, guess what? She sold out her launch. She hit her number that she wanted. Okay. It was literally $1,000 offer. And she wanted to get 10 people. And you know how many people that she actually ended up getting? 17. So, and this is from a list of 9,000 people, right? And it was a short time. It was like a week only. It was, anyways, beside the point. Cultivate the people that are already there. Love on the people that are already there 70% of the time. And then 30%, go find new folks. Go get eyeballs. Okay. Go get new eyeballs. So recap, because I get so wordy. Number one, clarify your energetic signature. Like try to distill down your essence to 3 to 5 words. 2, share your journey. Okay. Share the journey, not just the polished, perfect destination. Number 3, create conversation, not just content. Like, hey, leave a comment, reply back, whatever, will they always do it? No, but at least you're inviting them. They see it. Okay. And then 70-30. Okay. 70% nurturing the people who are already there, 30% on finding new eyeballs to see your content or new people on your email list. Okay. It's easier to sell to someone who's a repeat customer who is already loving your stuff than it is to someone who doesn't know who you are and you have to start from scratch, trying to build that relationship. If you implement these pieces consistently, you're going to get results. Try it for a full marketing cycle. A full marketing cycle is 90 days, by the way. It's not like a week or when the next full moon is. It's 90 days. It takes 90 days for you to actually see results of a marketing campaign. Okay. And you're like, but Liza, I heard that some guru, like they launched in a week and they made $1 million. Yeah, but they primed their audience. Okay, so pay attention. So 90 days, folks, 90 days. Okay, and then evaluate your results. So for 90 days, the next 90 days, the next quarter, next 3 months, really implement these things and see how the energy shifts in your business and see the responses and see what happens when you promote something and you're coming from this place. I bet you're going to be really surprised. I bet you're going to be happy with the results. Okay, so in closing, number one, see all the pockets where your people gather around your content, around you, around your words as communities, your email list, your social media, all your platforms. Okay. All those places, those are communities and they count and they matter. All right. So, just know that love on the people who are already there and then spend 30% of your time trying to find new people, try to call in those new people into your universe. All right. You're going to really be surprised by this results, right? And try this out for 90 days. A full marketing cycle is 90 days. So try it out for 90 days. So, you're going to love it. So anyways, in closing for this actual series, I'm like, I actually have 2 closings within this one closing here. So we're closing out this episode and we're also closing out the series of Broke Healer No Thanks. Okay. So remember that your prosperity and your purpose, they're not 2 opposing forces that hate each other and that to fight each other to the death. These are your partners. This is your partners in you fulfilling your mission of why you're here. Okay. Living out your purpose, you doing your thing, and then you being properly compensated for it. These 2 are partners. Okay. So when you align your business practices with your spiritual values, you create not only a sustainable living, but you also create a very powerful platform that can create transformation and impact. Okay. And that's huge. That's what we're here to do. We're not here to play small. Okay. The universe didn't stutter with you. Okay. So you're here to make a difference and you're here also to make money. So remember that. All right. So thank you so much for joining me in this series, the Broke Healer No Thanks series. I really enjoyed putting this together. So until the next series drops, make sure to the podcast, give it a 5-star review if you found value in it. If you do write a 5-star review, please screenshot your review and DM it to me, send it to me on Instagram @Business Mystic, or you can also email it to me at support@thebusiness-mystic.com. And I will treat you to your next cup of coffee as a thank you, because, the more people rate my programs and my episodes, the more people like us can find this content, and they can have the confidence, to really go out there. And that's my goal, is to create as many sacred seven-figure businesses as possible. It's like my form of rebellion. Like, yes, so everyone get rich. Like, that's all I want. So till next time, take care, and we'll talk soon.